I'm Sarah Moscoso.
And I'm Karlie Fromm.
And you're watching Etown News on ECTV 40.
As Elizabethtown College continues to accept larger class sizes, issues regarding capacity have surfaced. ECTV 40's Jessica Piergallini shows more about these new concerns.
The 2022 to 2023 school year at Elizabethtown College has proved to be frustrating for many. Various amounts of students have found issues surrounding the number of students on campus. This fall, Elizabethtown College welcomed its largest class since 2015. With over 500 new students on campus, space quickly proved to be an issue. With the number of admitted students going up, many feel the school doesn't have the capacity for them.
Recently, I feel Elizabethtown College is only focused on admitting the most amount of students possible, and as a current student, I feel forgotten about.
The effect of more students on campus is not going unnoticed either. Longer lines in the marketplace, open parking spaces are far to none, and housing all the students has proved to be an issue. Royer, a dormitory on campus, has been out of commission for the past 2 years.
Before the COVID-19 pandemic, there were plans to remodel and possibly tear down the Royer Residence Hall. But for the time being, that plan has been put on hold.
Because of the exceeding capacity on campus, students are temporarily placed in Royer Hall at the beginning of the year.
I was already disappointed by the fact that all the apartments and quads were full, so now I'm living my junior year in a dorm, and I don't know what I would have done if I would have been temporarily placed in Royer.
One thing that makes Etown so special is the tight-knit community that many feel on campus. As the school expands its numbers, one questions if this feeling will remain. Students continue to be vocal about their frustration with the increase of accepted students to their school, especially in regards to housing. Until less students are enrolled into the school or expansions take place, this seems to be the new normal for the Etown campus.
For ECTV 40, I'm Jessica Piergallini.
The college has recently announced renovation plans for reopening Royer Residence Hall. These plans are a step towards resolving capacity issues.
After a turbulent election season, the results for Pennsylvania state governor and Senate races are in. Democrat John Fetterman won the U.S. Senate seat, and Democrat Josh Shapiro won the race for PA state governor. Votes are still being counted to see which party will either remain in control or take over the House of Representatives and Senate for the nation.
How does it feel to be a problem? This question, prompted by scholar W.E.B. Du Bois, was the topic of discussion at Diversity, Equity, and Belonging Mentality mini-series. The event was presented by Housing and Residence Life Area Coordinator Eugene Thomas. Students and staff participated in group discussions about race and the connections between race and manhood. They also reflected on their education about race. Rounding out the event, Eugene shared why it's important to have discussions like these in educational settings.
Language is important. I think just bringing light to the words that we use and not being afraid to use those words is a good start, because at least we start to identify, like, okay, this is that word, I don't know what that word means, and now I have a little bit more knowledge than I did before.
Now for your Etown sports updates. The women's basketball team started out their season in terrific fashion last Wednesday. They took McDaniel down with ease, winning 85-43 in Westminster, Maryland. Then on Saturday, the Blue Jays kicked off the Terry Green Tip-Off Classic against Lycoming in Lancaster with a big win. The team took the lead early and never looked back, winning 80-57. The next day, they continued the championship, winning 58-45 against Franklin and Marshall. The Blue Jays are undefeated so far, starting the season 3-0. The team will prepare for their next matchup against Lebanon Valley in Annville, Pennsylvania next Tuesday. The men's basketball team kicked off their season last Wednesday in a matchup against Franklin and Marshall. Unfortunately, the Jays dropped the home opener in a close game, losing 83-78. The team then took the court on Saturday night against McDaniel in Westminster, Maryland. They lost by a score of 72-59. This moves them to a 0-2 on the new season. The Blue Jays look to capture their first win of the season in their next game tomorrow against Cabrini at home. The wrestling team met against Franklin and Marshall for their first regular season match last Wednesday in Lancaster. Unfortunately, the Blue Jays didn't start off on the right foot, losing their matchup 32-9. On Saturday, in the Rice Rumble Invitational in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, the team finished 7th out of 14 teams with almost 83 points. The next match is Friday versus Wilkes at home. The men's swim team continued their scorching hot start to the season on Friday with another win. This one happened to be at home against Lebanon Valley with a score of 147 to 46. On Sunday, the Blue Jays swept the day with 2 wins in Stevenson, Maryland. They won the first meet against Stevenson by a score of 136 to 66. In the other matchup, they beat Wilkes 167 to 24. With an impressive start to the season, the Blue Jays are now at 6-0. Their next meet is this Saturday against Catholic in Washington, D.C. The women's swim team captured their 4th win of the season on Friday at home against Lebanon Valley. The Jays won 144 to 51, earning their 2nd win in a row. On Sunday, they beat both of their opponents in Stevenson, Maryland. They beat Wilkes 162 to 8 and Stevenson 145 to 58. This pushes the Blue Jays' winning streak to 4 wins, moving them to 6-2. On Saturday, the Blue Jays will return to the pool for their matchup against Catholic in Washington, D.C. The men's cross-country team placed 7th out of 32 teams in the NCAA Division III Mid-Atlantic Regional Championship. It took place on Saturday in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. The team finished with 251 points. Junior Brandon Baxter earned all-region honors, finishing in 29th place. Their final meet of the season is Saturday in Lansing, Michigan, for the NCAA Division III Cross-Country Championship. On Saturday, the women's cross-country team also met in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania for the same championship. They finished 5th out of 29 teams with 185 points. Kelty Ulster and Bridget Kennedy both took home all-region honors with their 13th and 24th place finishes. The Blue Jays' final meet of the season is on Saturday in Lansing, Michigan, where they look to end their season on a high note. That's all of your Etown sports updates.
Last Friday, the class of 2025 Student Senate hosted their fairy tale formal event from 7 to 10 p.m. Attendees entered the Susquehanna room with their best outfits on to enjoy the dance floor with fellow Etown students. Etown Catering Services provided a crate making station with strawberries, chocolate, and whipped cream toppings. Students took many pictures with their friends in front of a twinkle light backdrop. Blasts from the past played throughout the night, like the Cha-Cha Slide, Single Ladies, and Cotton Eye Joe, which got people on their feet and dancing.
Thanks for tuning in to Etown News on ECTV 40. I'm Sarah Moscoso.
And I'm Karlie Fromm.
And this is our last Etown News episode for the semester. But do not fret, there's one more coming next week and more to come in the spring.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel so you get the latest Etown news each week.
And remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at ECTV 40. Have a great week, and remember to
take flight, Etown.